Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, the Portugal Club. Was there something else? There must be. I forgot. But anyway, this is how I started earlier on this morning. Thank you. A lovely cup of coffee here. Cheers, T-Duck. Yeah, something was over me this morning, a little bit of a black cloud, and hence the name of the show this morning, Looking for the Good and Praising It. I think talking so much about citizenship, political stuff, there is the big political, what's it called, populism, progress, Portugal chat tonight with Antonio Barbosa at 12 hours from now, pretty much. Let's park that there. If you like that sort of thing, do come along. I am looking for the light in the subject. I'm really not looking for a fight, but it so easily degenerates, doesn't it? And it's quite the intelligence test to stay light and to stay on what is dear and true to you. Without being pulled over in a big sumo battle of ideologies and wills at the moment. So I'm feeling you if that's where you are, and I realised I got a little bit pulled into the dark side. The dark nights, the colder weather, it all adds up, doesn't it? So we have to be very vigilant, I think, about our own mental health and well-being. And why wouldn't we declare ourselves an independent state of happiness and joy here on the Good Morning Portugal show, looking for the good and praising it this morning. And yeah, looking for good, positive news. I think we're going to have to do it ourselves, folks. So if you've got something beautiful to share about your life here in Portugal, I think we need to get back to basics. That's what we're really about, is celebrating, enjoying and having a great life here in Portugal. Any beautiful pictures or videos, 913-590-303, please. Little challenging times, the energies. And tomorrow, of course, or by Friday, we might have ascended into an entirely different state of consciousness if the chap whose video I showed you comes true. Tomorrow, Thursday, the 30th of October, the portents, the omens, the lineup, the stellar, cosmic, and terrestrial forces are pointing towards a moment of transcendence. Now, if you don't feel that tomorrow, it might be because it's a complete load of old codswallop. It might be that you haven't quite tuned into that. You haven't been meditating enough just recently. Oh, and talking of Eastern mysticism, which we kind of are, which I kind of am. Jeremy College is joining us a little bit later on in the show to talk about a workshop he's running here on the Silver Coast, spine health. But I'm going to tap him up for a little bit of Chinese wisdom as well. Because you think the ancient Chinese had a pretty good grasp, did they not, on wisdom and how to stay sane whilst putting up with a dynasty or two or whatever it was that they had to put up with, against which they developed their incredible philosophical ideas. So we'll see if Jeremy can import some of that into the show a little bit later on. But we're going to, you have to do this for yourself, don't you? You have to look for the good, you have to praise it, and you have to be the guardian of your own state of joy and brilliance and light and love and truth. Ain't nobody else going to do that for you, folks, but I'll do my best to help and support you with a fertile and creative environment in which to do so. Quite a big audience this morning, in our own little way, in Gumperville here, in Gumpeiro. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in. And yeah, if you want to support the show, that can be done now. I was talking about the school tiers, wasn't I? TIERS yesterday, and how school have enabled a proper freemium model. So everyone can join the Portugal Club, which will go and do citizenship test question number 42. The answer is not 42. The question is 42 this morning. And there is now a freemium model over there. So if you've been thinking, do you know what? I really must support Munson and what he's trying to do over at the Good Morning Portugal Club. You can do that now. And I will give you a link and a screen through which to do that, should you wish to keep the wheels on the track of this endeavor. Well done, the school team, SKOOL, Sam Ovens et al. Over there. Absolutely brilliant job with what you're doing here on school. I'm looking at it, and I'll take you there in just a moment. But first, how rude of me. I'm inviting you first and foremost to send things of beauty and joy to 913-590-303, a celebration of our beautiful lives here in Portugal. And looking for the good and praising it this morning. Yes, with some strange energies and atmospheres in the air at the moment. But we don't need to focus too much on those. We'll make our own pretty little world of unicorns and rainbows. Good morning, everyone. From Gemini this morning. Bon dia alegria being the operative word there from T-Duck this morning. Bon dia alegria Gumpers from T-Duck. Comprimentos, bon dia, Gumpers. Yes, the compliments of the morning from Jackie there with a rather delightful and old-fashioned turn of phrase. That's how you sign off on a Portuguese letter, isn't it? Cumprimentos. Best regards, compliments, that sort of thing. Bon dia to you as well, Jackie. Bon dia alegria, Jackie, Gem, and Duck. We are ready for Carl to be a David. Well, guapo me great nuts, quiz. Yeah, I've seen David Bellamy has been back on the X Twitter timeline. Quite a good yin and yang to the David Attenborough, isn't he? Certainly, that's what I've been seeing in my time. And that's part of the trouble. Too much time on X and Twitter just recently. But yeah, Beard Cam continues. I thought I was past the itchy bit, but apparently not. The rain is leaving for a while. How did you get on in the rain? There were some amazing videos of severe downpours in the capital and inundation. I could translate that, inundação, of rain in certain parts of the country, notably in the capital. The rain is leaving for a while and sunshine is expected this afternoon with a high of 22 degrees centigrade in Lisbon. And some lovely sunshine. Actually, this morning, as I made my way into the studio, I came under a major cat attack as well this morning. Every one of those creatures seemed to do something naughty in the last 12 hours. So I had to barricade myself into the kitchen to get a bit of peace this morning. And something to share with you. Yes, levity, beauty, that's what we're all about this morning. And something that flashed up on my screen. 5 millimeters of Chuvasex apparently is, I don't know if this is a Microsoft thing or not, but isn't it, even at my age, I'm amused when I see something like this. It brings out the puerile in me. So yeah, bottom right hand corner of my screen this morning, 5 millimeters of Chuvasex. I'm thinking that's a weather forecast and not necessarily a statement of fact. And that will be Friday's weather forecast when it's sexta-feira, I'm guessing. Unless somebody is enjoying 5 millimeters of Chuvasex somewhere in Portugal. It's a very open-minded country in so many ways. Just look at the pottery of Caldas de Rainha. Don't look, don't look, don't take the vicar, the district nurse, or any nuns with you on a day trip to Caldas de Rainha. You will have some explaining to do. Hold on a minute. I'm not late because was I late this morning? Maybe a minute. Oh, and yeah, as I went live, actually, StreamYard. Note to you: you could tell people that they need to clear space in their storage. Maybe earlier on in the process, not before they're about to go live. I don't know how you would do that, but you technical people are amazing, as the school people prove to me. Every single week, they're innovating some great stuff over there. Prepare for a beautiful St. Martin summer today. So is that what you're feeling in your seaweed? Have you been fondling your seaweed, Peter? And you can share with us your forecast, your prophecy for a beautiful Indian summer here in Portugal called Inverno. Sorry, no. A Verão de São Martinho, of course. Okay, definitely going out for walks today. Stayed indoors yesterday doing chores. Well done. That is part of a happy and balanced life as well, isn't it? Is attending to the chores, not letting those get the better of you as well. Solar Life, it's nearly at point. Local council will be sending him an order to shave because it's a fire risk. Stop it. I think at this time of year I'm safe, but maybe I did do a bit of grilling. That sounds like a very dangerous combination, and perhaps I was very lucky not to get a visit from the local authority with unauthorized growth and grilling combo. I think the grilling is actually okay now, isn't it? Peter will know that. He will be able to eat breakfast all day. Give over, Peter. No, not late because I was shaving. As I've explained to you, needed to make a bit more space because of the prolific output of this station and Mrs. M's prolific astrological output as well. We probably need a bigger space in someone else's hard drive, aka the cloud, of course. Morning, Mike. How you doing? It's not a black cloud over Carl. It's shadow from the beard. Mel, it's been good value so far, this face fungus. Bon dia to you, Mel. Thank you for your message. That vote was bad news. Our lawyer should be getting the application in today just before the law. Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? And yeah, it's all part of having a balanced view of the world, and I've been looking too much at that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's not the best news. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the Portugueser late last night or this morning. Although he did have a tea cozy on his head, so I think he's possibly looking at the lighter side of life this morning as well. Guys, smash the like button, but also make sure you hit all messages, or you'll only see a few and not the full chat. Is that right? Is that how it works? Last Wednesday was National Procrastination Day. It's time to celebrate. Well done, everybody. Bon dia todos. That's the spirit. Thank you, everybody, this morning. Bon dia todos e feliz carta. It's half term in the UK this week. Oh, so that's why all the prices have gone up for flights and holidays in the UK. Picking up 2 granddaughters to stay tonight. No time to be down. Absolutely. That's good, isn't it? The influence of youngsters in your life shows how terrible Shager are, always ready to blame the most vulnerable with policies that are popular but nonsense. Are you blaming Shager there? Yeah, I was having a good day yesterday until I had a major water leak through the house. So stressful. But my gratitude, there's something in the air, and in Mel's house, it's water. My gratitude for the awesome guys currently renovating my floor who dropped everything from other jobs Saturday and yesterday with buckets and quick fixes for now. Oh my goodness. The path of renovation rarely runs smoothly. And have you sent us a photo? Look, my little dog putting my dominant dog in her place. That's the way to do it, isn't it? If you ever need to dominate somebody, this would be. Am I allowed to show the picture of your dogs? This is one domination strategy that I suspect, if we're honest, we've all tried at some point in our lives. Okay, are you joining us for the conversation tonight about populism and progress? What I'm really hoping to get to after we've managed Antonio Barbosa, the man in the Minos, iration this evening, is what are Portuguese values? That's what occurred or distilled for me, and I think this is a positive thing. What is it? What are the beauty? What's the beauty, the truth, the light, the joy of Portuguese values that we were drawn to? You know, this culture is made of that to a great extent that attracted us here. What is that we might help preserve and promote now? Because it's very easy to criticize things, isn't it? I mean, human beings are very good at that. It's a whole other order of intelligence, I suppose, to look at what is good and magnify and amplify and preserve that. I guess, without wanting to push any buttons, it's called conservatism, isn't it? Is it not? Which in the right place is a good thing, isn't it? You know, there's a time for progress and there's a time for conservation. And it looks like it might be useful to have the conversation about what's great about Portuguese values, because it's not difficult. It's not difficult to find what's great about Portuguese culture. It might be a difficult conversation to have because all sorts of triggers are there at the moment within that. But there is something beautiful, obviously, it must be, right, about this country that we've been attracted to. What is it? And is it now our responsibility as the recipients of those values and of that beauty to preserve, uphold, and promote those things? That's what I'm interested in. Shows how uniformed some people are. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but yes, we're supposed to love a man in uniform, but perhaps in his outfit, not in his mind. Is that the point that's being made? No body part is off limits in the pottery shops of Caldas de Rainha. It's so true, isn't it? Portugal is rather secular, even though they follow Catholic traditions, and I think the separation, well, that's what secularism isn't it? The separation of religion and politics. I think Portugal has done that quite well, has it not? Bon dia from Mr. S. A todos chavalos e chavalas. Telechavalas. Jim White's also here this morning. You only have to mention looking for the good and praising it, and Jim White turns up, everybody. And yes, doggy domination. That got your attention, didn't it? I've got a picture sent to me on 913590303. The animals, the creatures are so much better, aren't they, at getting into their joy than we humans are. There is the normally submissive dog dominating the normally dominant dog, who seems to have one of the cone of shame on its head. And the black dog is not showing any mercy whatsoever. The cone of shame is on, and the posterior has been lowered onto the head of the other dog. I think the other dog as well is accepting its fate. I'm no dog whisperer, but I think I know a little bit about animal psychology, canine psychology, that is. And that dog is accepting its fate. Maybe that's what us humans, and that's another note we could take out of the book of animal behavior, is to is to know our place. Perhaps that's a difficult one, isn't it, to the human ego? Especially good comment there, T Duck. Thank you very much for that. And that is a sort of lightness and levity we are looking for this morning, as we as we turn our attention to the Portuguese citizenship test. We'll have a laugh with Jeremy when he turns up as well. He's talking about spinal health. He's running a workshop on the subject when he gets back here to the Silver Coast soon. Right. First and foremost, then, thank you so much to the supporters who are here. I said a little bit about this yesterday. Where are we? Portugal Club. Yeah, these are the new. I'll put the link to it. If you want to support the Good Morning Portugal show, it's possible to do it now via the school platform in a way that allows the access to the timeline, the community timeline, absolutely free. Anyone can join. If there's somebody you'd like to see there in the community, send them the invitation, send them the link, and they can do so. Actually, if you do that as an affiliate, you get a little bit of their monthly premium upgrade, should they wish to do so. I believe that's what happens in the software as well. So you will get, as a free member, access to the Portugal Club timeline, and of course see the Portuguese citizenship test questions as they come up, which I'll do in just a moment, and access to one of the classroom modules. That's the Portuguese A to Z, Portugal A to Z, absolutely free, which rhymes very nicely. And if you want to support the show, you'll also get access to all the Portugal Club resources behind the scenes there. So much of that information put together with T-Duck back in the day. And I was looking through some of the old resources. I've got a few memes to show you. We have done so much in these last few years. We've had so much fun, so many laughs, and created so much content. And I forget a lot of it. And then I'm really delighted to unearth something. Owen, going through the dad joke challenge, trying not to laugh. He didn't manage, and all the wonderful memes that we made. So $9, which is a better deal than €9, let's face it, at the moment. If you want to do that, if you want to support what we're doing here, and if you want to be a bigger hitter, there's another VIP level as well. That's all at the plans tab, and I'll put the link for doing that into the chat now. And what a lovely surprise that will be if anybody wants to take advantage of that new tech that school have just introduced over there. But that's not why we've gone there this morning. The main reason why we've gone there is to look at today's post-colonial question for Portugal. Let me get the right one. Yes, 42 is the question, not the answer. I know 42 is the answer, the big answer, of course, but no, it's the question this morning. 42 then. Let me find the right tab. I've got so many open at the moment. That's the one. Portuguese citizenship test number 42. Which Portuguese colony? Oh, somebody's already been in there this morning. Fantastic. Only put it up about 10 minutes ago. Which Portuguese colony gained exactly 25 minutes ago? This was posted. Which Portuguese colony gained independence in 1975? Was it A, Angola? Was it B, Brazil? Or was it C, Macau? And who's been there already this morning? Let's have a look. Good morning to you, Virginia. Virginia is possibly the most... I don't know, the most regular answerer of the Portuguese citizenship test. So thanks, Virginia. And you've gone for Angola. So yeah, which Portuguese colony gained independence in 75? Was it Angola? A, was it selection B, Brazil, or was it C, Macau? And I'll put the link to that into the chat as well. I believe Jeremy has joined us behind the scenes as well. Looking forward to having a chat with him this morning, and I'll ask him. He's quite well tuned into the energetics of life, and I'll ask him if he's feeling a little bit of autumnal energy, and if human beings are a little bit under the weather at the moment. I think it's a perfectly normal, cyclical, seasonal thing. But then when you chuck in all the politics and everything into that, you get quite the pretty pass. Smash the like button and receive a free smile from Carl. Oh, okay then. I'll do it this morning. What have I missed here before we go to Jeremy? Yeah, bon dia to you as well, Jim. Lovely to see you here, Mr. White, Senor Branco, and Pete and Mr. S having one of their Portuguese chats and laughing behind their hands, no doubt. In the chat as well. Didn't exist when the Portuguese invaded Africa and South America. That's true, isn't it? No denying it. They indeed altered cultures and traditions, to say the least. Yes, and it's happening in reverse at the moment. You could argue as well, couldn't you? I'm sure that may well come up this evening as well in our conversation with Antonio Barbosa. Beyond the algorithm, populism and progress. That's the conversation we'll attempt to have in an open-minded and open-hearted way, as we are generally able to do here on Good Morning Portugal. That'll be a Portugal Club discussion this evening at 8 o'clock. Let's give him a nice big round of applause and welcome him to the screen. Hola, bon dia, senor.
Bon dia.
How are you, Jeremy?
Very good, thank you very much. How are you, Carl?
Well, earlier on I was explaining that I think I'd let all this political talk and thought get to me a little bit. So hence the show is looking for the good and praising it. And I was asking folks to send pictures and videos that celebrate the beauty of life here in Portugal, because there is much to celebrate. I mean, in life generally, you don't have to be in Portugal to do this. You could be anywhere in the world. I think life is good. And we just forget that. And us humans are very complex, complicated. Our egos tend to bring all sorts of things to the party. And before we know it, we could be a little bit down in the dumps or bad with our nerves.
Well, I'd like to point out that it's actually positive media like you that makes the change, because our media is so negative. We have such a, the only reason for mainstream media, that kind of stuff, is to put fear into you. And so, it's very easy to be fearful because all we hear is the bad stuff. But if you think about it, the people who are currently at war, there's probably, I don't know, maybe 1 million, 2 million, 5 million people at war amongst trillions of us. 1.8 trillion on the earth, or whatever the number is these days.
Billion, I think. We will be getting to the trillion by next year, I understand.
Sorry, 1.8 billion.
yes. 8 billion, I think, currently. But somebody else will be able to tell us the real-time number, I'm sure, because there will be counters for such things. Unless, of course, they've been hijacked by the mainstream media as well, and that's all part of a doomy narrative that is being thrust upon us, as I think you quite rightly pointed out. You were in the positive media business for a little while, weren't you, trying to do your thing with that?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. Yeah, I think it's a really, really important thing to be bringing forward. And when we started our little channel in 2006, I started saying to my friends, what about some positive media? This is what we're going to do. We're going to try and cover positive stories. And people looked at me and said, there aren't any.
You didn't let that stop you, though, I noticed.
No, absolutely not. No. We had a few very good years of making lovely positive stories. And and you were in the positive media business as well, with positive newspaper.
With the newspaper of that name, Positive News, with Shauna and Jane, who I think you met in your positive news career as well. However, now, Jeremy, I think you've immersed yourself in the world of qigong and energetic medicine, that we can call it, from the Chinese mystical tradition. Is it mystical? It's actually very down to earth and practical as well, isn't it? It's all of these things.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think that's where one of the problems comes in, is that people see the type of Chinese medicine that's entwined in Buddhism and entwined in Taoism, and those kind of things, those sort of spiritual paths, if you like, have their own. My particular branch of it is Qigong, which is the sort of root of all Chinese medicine, really, exercise forms that are at the root of everything. And they sort of see these kind of religious paths, if you like, and they immediately say, oh, it's some sort of spiritual thing. But the truth is that actually it's been studied scientifically for thousands of years in China, and it has a very, very strong scientific path. Although, because it's been supported by Buddhism and Taoism, it seems to be a spiritual thing because they're quite, big paths, as it were. But it's not at all. It's very scientific. And over the last 50, 70 years, it's been rigorously tested in China and, works incredibly well. So,
and does that work for people? Because I think that would appear to be important to people, isn't it? Because it's like, you can't win. It's like, oh, no, I'm not interested in that ugly, boggly energy stuff with the weird people in black outfits standing, early in the morning on the beach in big groups. I'm not joining a cult like that. It's weird. Okay, well, here's the science. Well, yeah, but it's not science, is it? It's like
Chinese science. Yeah, that's right.
do you
Yeah.
I mean, I guess people just have to have a moment like you did. This is no secret, is it? Where there's a sort of personal breakthrough. There's only so much you can do in the rational mind, isn't there, of convincing other people or yourself. What really seems to make the difference is like, okay, my life needs to change, or there's an overwhelming sense of something coming into your life that you can't stop. Is that true? And are you seeing more of that at the moment?
I think that's exactly it. It's interesting you say, Carl. I'm just going to pull a point back there about you saying about the sensation of autumn.
Oh, yeah.
And that's very, very key. It used to be a very, very difficult moment for me when autumn comes up on the Chinese calendar. So the Chinese calendar is a slightly different thing. It's got 5 72-day cycles. Or is it 5 74-day cycles? I can't do the maths in my head. I think it's 5 74-day cycles. So they have 5 seasons as opposed to the 4 seasons we have. So at a specific time, a very kind of specific time, you can tell the change when it's shifting from that beautiful kind of hazy late summer into the first tendrils of autumn arriving.
Yeah.
And for me, I always used to get a cough or a cold almost instantly. I used to think, what is going on? Why has this arrived? So I kept a diary, of my sort of health, as it were. And over the years, I looked back and I just thought to myself, God, look at that. Every time I shift from what the Chinese call late summer, which we often refer to as Indian summer, that little season that's jammed between the full-blown summer and autumn, that sort of hazy hot bit. So they call it late summer, and that's the 5th season that we don't, specify. But I used to look at it and think, gosh. And so then I identified the fact that I was having some problems with my lungs. Something is going on in my lungs. I always end up with this hacking cough around about that time of year. And I started to work with it, and I've managed to stop that completely. Touch wood. It doesn't come
really.
Yeah, but the other thing as well is you're absolutely right. So as the season shifts, you get this emotional shift as well. In Chinese medicine, this is where we're going to get suddenly a bit kind of woo for people, but they also assign certain emotions to certain organs in the body. So if you're suffering a lot of sadness, a lot of sorrow, a lot of guilt, grief, shame, those are the things that they say are associated with the health of your lungs. And the more you bring up the health of your lungs, the less likely you're going to get coughs and colds. But also, the less these sort of problems of emotions are going to trouble you, as it were. And so you can actually help balance your emotions by using your body well as well. So that's what we do in Qigong, is we use our bodies to, first of all, work out, get a sort of a good stretch for the body I hesitate to say a yoga way, because it's not like yoga. It's actually the complete antithesis of yoga.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back to that. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean, I can tell you in a phrase. I can't quite remember how it works. It's something like yoga is stretching while Qigong is compacting, or something like that. It's there's a mechanical something that differentiates them, and that's a kind of like a very wide, broad thing. But one person once explained it to me. Who was a teacher of both, and she said, whereas yoga's attempted to stretch things, Qigong attempts to kind of like compact and then open them, or something along those lines.
No, that does make sense. But I think the point you're making is that we get more into our bodies. I mean, that's the distinction, isn't it? Once, if you are looking for some body work that you do as exercise, it's yoga-ish, or it might
Yeah,
be Tai Chi, or it might be Qigong, but there are distinctions, obviously, the nuances as you get into it. And that
yeah,
is what you're encouraging us to do. I mean, that's that shift you've just described, isn't it? It's like going from the rational and conceptual and the theoretical and like opinions and judgments into actually doing something that impacts really, truly, realistically your body, which you've been through. I mean, I find that fascinating that you had this annual phenomenon, which most people call the flu season,
yeah.
don't
That's right.
they? Right? And it's
Yeah,
like, I know, I will suffer it. I'll get a jab for it, and
that's it.
and maybe not actually do anything self-empowering about it. That
That's
seems
it.
to me what you did. You saw the dots, you connected the dots of like, oh, okay, so that happens to me every year for some reason, and you went into it, like literally, physically went into it, right, and then metaphysically went into it to see that the emotions are under pressure or spotlighted at this time of year to do with those things that are making us cough
Yeah.
and sad and those sorts of things.
And one of the sort of the odd side effects of that is that you find that so one of the main things at this time of year is grief.
Yeah,
And we have Halloween coming up, and that's relates to
that's
Day
gonna
of the
help.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that relates to Day of the Dead across kind of like South America and in China as well. And that's
Mm,
the time where you go back to thinking about the people you've lost. And so
yes.
we talk about ghosts and things at Halloween, but the reason for talking about those is because this is the time of year where naturally we're thinking about, or naturally, or for thousands of years, I suppose, we've been thinking about going and cleaning the ancestors' graves, lighting some candles for them, whatever it is that we do. But that's because at this time of year, the sort of let's say the energy feels quite heavy, and it makes you sort of think about these things. I think because the year is also dying metaphorically, which is rather sad to say,
Yeah.
but all the lovely happiness of sunshine, it's hard not to kind of put the whole arc of the year against the arc of your own life and think, springtime, I'm a spring chicken, summertime, the summertime of my life, autumn is, so
Yeah,
I think
I don't know.
we feel,
That's right. I don't know of any great songs. Like rock and roll doesn't tend to feature winter, does it? It's like riding along in my automobile. It's like it's summertime blues. Oh,
no, hang on a
summertime
minute.
blues.
Is it
Summertime.
automobile?
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
No, perhaps not.
No, I'm loving this, and also there's a nod there to acknowledging rather than ignoring things
Yeah,
as well, because that's also a very modern way of being, isn't it? Is like, to have a homogenous experience of life all year round, regardless of nature and the seasons. Like on the one hand, everyone's like, oh, I'd love to get out into nature, but
yeah.
then when nature is getting into you, it's not so good, is it? It's like,
No,
the
that's very
time of
different.
grief and your leaves turning brown
Yeah,
is, it doesn't feel quite as comfortable as a lovely view of nature that you would drive in your car to go and have a look at. But if we embrace this
yeah,
rather than avoid it and hope for the next spring and summer, we might be contributing more to our health, right? If we take it
that's
on
it.
board of what's actually going on rather than no, 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 no. And that's what you are doing, what you do.
Very much so. I mean, we're embracing the natural cycle. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things where, we've lost touch with what goes on at this time of year. This time of year, people would be bottling fruit and they'd be eating, sort of sweet tubers and things like that come out of the ground. You go to the supermarket and you can just have some more Chinese snow peas that have been flown in from Peru, So
To cheer
we've kind of,
yourself up.
yeah,
Cheer
we've just
yourself
kind
up
of
with
lost the sort
Snoopy.
of the natural cycle of things, haven't we?
We do. We definitely have done. If not for people like yourself who have a personal connection, a life changing connection with this, and wanting to share it with others. One way of you doing that. I mean, you teach qigong every day, I believe, don't you? Yeah.
3 days a week. So after our call here at 9:30, I'm just going to advertise very briefly.
Please
If you go
do.
on my website, quantumqigong.co.uk, and then /classes, you'll see
Yeah.
I have a class at 9:30 on a Tuesday where we do sort of basic exercises. 9:30 on a Wednesday today is going to be my healing class. And so in Qigong, what we do is we do a kind of like a meditation, a guided meditation where you can sit or you can do a standing, which is quite big in Qigong. You do sort of a standing posture, and then you use that structure to go inside your body and help yourself to heal, essentially. So Wednesday's healing class, and Thursday's a bit more advanced, but it doesn't stop people from joining in. So it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:30 on my Zoom thing.
That's absolutely wonderful. And the occasional workshop, which you've especially joined us to talk about this morning. By the way, everybody, anyone who's anyone can be found at the Portugal Club. And I was just doing a quick search. If you missed what Jeremy said there, if you go to the Portugal Club and type just Jeremy into the search bar, you'll get listings of what Jeremy's doing, his website. It'll take you through to that. And the idea that he and I have, because we share a love for San Martino de Porto and would like to see more healing and health and well-being workshops happen here off season. The idea called being Saúde Martino. See what we did there. Yeah. So this the workshop that's coming up. You did a flexibility workshop a few months ago. You came to talk to us about that. This one is specifically about the spine. Why would that be?
When I used to talk to my granny, I'd say to her, Gran, and then she'd have to literally turn round to be able to listen to me, if you know what I mean.
Ouch.
That's exactly, her neck and her whole spine, they just didn't move at all. And, so it's absolutely the supporting factor in our bodies. We are supported by our spine. If your spine doesn't work, you're in trouble, as it were.
Yeah,
and so, we thought, and I've done this workshop quite successfully quite a few times. I'm working with another teacher, Rosella Bacalo, who is also a really excellent Qigong teacher. And between the two of us, what we intend to do is to try and bring awareness during the session, try and bring awareness to the spine, really kind of discover your spine, perhaps if you haven't even thought about it, and then work through a series of very simple exercises that will, over a period of time, help you to really, really loosen and bring mobility back into your spine. Mm-hmm. So that's the idea, is to do that, is to try and reintroduce people back to their spines and do some work to keep your spine healthy.
And it's Rosella as well. You have a co-host on this. What will you bring complementarily or respectively to the workshop? It's happening on Sunday, November the 9th, and it's just a 10 till 1, but I imagine people will hang out after that, will they not? Yes, what do you each bring to these events? Because you did the other flexibility workshop together as well, didn't you, I think?
We did, yeah. So the thing that I just bash on through my teaching year after year. And the thing that I really found that I really liked was working with a female is incredibly different. And so we quite literally become the sort of the yin and yang of it. For me, I'm a very technical minded. And that's what really, really excited me about Qigong, was that when I first studied it, people used to just say, and I'd say, why does this help? And they would say, just do it. It's, just do it. And they wouldn't have an answer for me. And I wanted to know why. And so that's when I started studying medical Qigong, which was this vast work put together, oddly enough, by the Communist Party, but let's not say no more about that. But this was the very kind of, very deeply scientific look into why each exercise works. What can you actually trigger? What can you benefit? Why does it work? So for me, getting underneath the bonnet or the hood, depending on where you come from, to have a look at the engine and find out what was happening inside, has been a lifetime's work. And I really enjoy it so much. But from Rosella, it's a completely different perspective. For her, it's been much more of what we would call a spiritual journey. She's much more in tune with these things, as the sacred feminine often is. And so for her, it's much more of a kind of internal journey, using your mind to examine, the state of the body. For me, it's much more of a mechanical journey. So we have two halves of a whole. It's for me, a perfect synergy. And I hope for the people who come along to the course, it'll be a perfect synergy too.
Yeah, great. Okay, so if you want to get in touch with Joe, you could do that through me, actually, if you've missed that. But Sunday, November 9th, from 10 till 1, a very reasonably priced introductory price of €40 there, but you need to reserve. You can't just rock up for that. So get in touch. Harmoniousentirety.com is the website where you can find out more as well. It's not just posture. A healthy spine improves organs, the nervous system and joints. Your well-being starts here. Stop worrying. Keep yourself moving easily, looking young, strong and flexible, and practicing with us. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. What's the venue? You're going to be on the Silver Coast for this, are you?
Yeah, we're just at our Faiseran.
Of
So
course
there's
you are, yes.
a little place called Studio Movimento in Alfezeron, just next to San Martino de Porto, near Caldas. So it's about, 10 minutes drive away from Caldas, something like that.
Very good. May we talk a little bit more, Jeremy, or do you need to go off and get ready for your class? Have you got 5 minutes more? Oh, marvellous. Thank you very much indeed. Good morning to you, Chris. When you said woo-woo, I was going to make a very cheap 70s sort of joke, wondering if that was the originator, Professor Woo-woo from Beijing. It would have been Peking back then, of course, but why do we use the word woo-woo? I mean, there's wu-wei. Woo is definitely a Chinese word, isn't it? Why do you think people use the phrase woo-woo?
Oh, Mr. Wu. What do you do?
Yes.
Could it be George Formby?
It just conjures up a sense of mystery, I suppose, doesn't it? And it's become a put down.
Yeah, exactly that. It's quite a sort of mocking kind of thing to say, I think. Oh, it's all woo-woo. And
Yes.
I think it's something to do with, Fu Manchu. I think we're looking at sort of 50s and 60s terrible portrayals of China, really, aren't we?
We are possibly, and as a fear of the other, fear of the unknown, I suppose, and there's a lot of that about at the moment as well, isn't there? Very interesting. And you mentioned as well, I just wanted to pick up on, you said the Communist Party commissioned the science. They didn't create Qigong. I mean, that was a long time before their arrival in world history. But the scientific study was commissioned by the Communist Party. Was that a way of debunking, do you think? Or did they just need to understand what they were dealing with? Because it was a massive phenomenon, obviously, wasn't it? That they must have been a little bit worried about.
I have to give you a copy of my book.
Nicely done. I talk about this in my book.
What is Qigong? If I'd seen this coming, I would have had one in my hand right now.
Of course,
but it's available on Amazon, of course, all good supply.
Very good, Jeremy.
Thank you. So the shortened version of that, of the history of Qigong, is that about 3,000 years ago, you start to see pictures of the exercise I'm going to do in half an hour appearing on kind of papyrus, and I can recognize the exercises that people are doing. Brilliant. So 3,000 years ago, maybe 2,000 years ago, it starts to get written into Chinese culture with or 1,500 years ago, written into Chinese culture in a book called The Yellow Emperor's Classic. And then it starts to become more and more common, different schools, different families, different lineages. And they are all known as Dao Yin. So they haven't hit the word Qigong. It doesn't actually appear in publications until the 1900s, I don't think. So the name Qigong is relatively new. There's the concept Wu Wei, you mentioned Wu Wei. The concept Dao Yin is actually very long lasting, at least, 3 to 5,000 years old as a minimum. Wow. They think it's the oldest exercise form in the world, basically, the exercise I do. And then what happened was that we know the communists after the Second World War took over China, and they did an awful lot of good, it has to be said, for China. They also, under Chairman Mao, there were some shocking, terrible decisions where millions of people died. So it was a very up and down time. But you can't, as with all things, you can't say they were all absolutely terrible, because China has dragged itself out of the dirt to where it is now, and without the political class, China's actually a fabulous country, really filled with lovely people. It's amazing,
like so many places.
So many places, exactly. That seems to be the story everywhere, doesn't it? Discount the political class and everything's lovely.
Yeah.
But what happened was that in the 1960s, Nixon and Kissinger opened the doors for China, went over there, and their mission was to sell as much medical equipment as they could to China.
Like you do.
And you do, exactly. So then they made lots and lots of Western doctors. So, for instance, the guy who developed the style of Qigong I use, he trained for 7 years as a Western doctor. Then he trained for 7 years as a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, while being a Tai Chi gold medalist and a Qigong practitioner all of his life. So he was soaked in everything, and he could see the science of it as well. And so, yeah, so an awful lot of people learned about Western thinking in that period of time. And then they realized that they weren't going to be able to afford to put an operating theatre into every hospital in China because it was just too expensive. So then they decided to go back to their own barefoot medicine and discover what they actually had and organize it. So the Communist Party took thousands and thousands of Qigong masters, acupuncturists, herbal medicine doctors, drew them all into a vast compendium and started working through it scientifically at universities. And then it got smaller and smaller and smaller and more effective until they had what is now referred to as medical Qigong, which is what I'm trained in. And then, yeah, they use that as a sort of a background. So now if you go to good hospitals in China, you'll be triaged at the front desk and someone will say to you, you need herbs for that, you need acupuncture for that, you need surgery, you need instant, radio, chemo or whatever. They don't have a problem with mixing these things completely. Whereas for us, it's kind of like, it's all woo-woo, none of it works. Let's just forget about it, which is, Western doctors fighting with one hand behind their back, sadly. We've just let go of all of our folk medicine.
Which is the closest they get to doing any Tai Chi or Qigong, putting one hand behind their back.
Very good. Nice.
See what I did there. Right, okay. You keep touching, keep touching wood, Mr. I think that's addressed to you, unless it's Mr. Carl. It might be Mr. College. Now, I don't know what he's talking about. Is he accusing you of being superstitious, or is this a Chinese element comment, I wonder? I don't know. What do you think?
Wood is a springtime. No, I think that I mean, I'm not. I don't mind if he's having a go. I've spent
you, Mr.
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion on these things. But yeah, I think
I thought that was a bit more positive. I thought there was a sort of elemental comment there. I mean, the big question now is, how's that working for you, isn't it? Of anybody's political beliefs, spiritual beliefs, ideological beliefs, how they go about life, what they think about life, you have to ask the overall intelligent question, don't you? How's that working for you, right? And I think it's my experience of people, who you mentioned yoga before, people who seem to have some sort of what might be, the whole conversation is riddled with cliches and so on. But anyone who has a kind of spiritual awakening that helps them see themselves more holistically seems to me to have become a more happy, grounded, open person. I don't know if you would corroborate that. And those people who continue to go, it's like this, and hold on to that for the rest of their lives, look like the ones who need to be on your spine workshop, quite frankly.
No, I mean, I don't insist on anybody making change in their lives.
No, I'm not saying they should, but I'm just observing what happens with how people approach life and how they, how they look at things.
I agree with you. I mean, it's a holism. If you want to give your health away to somebody else and make them look after you, that's entirely up to you. Yeah, great. I understand that. On the other hand, I'd like to take responsibility. And gosh, we're generating an awful lot of comments here, Carl.
Yes. I thought we were concluding, but no, it's opening up in perhaps quite an autumnal sort of way, with grief, with summer behind us and winter to look forward to.
Yeah, so my feeling about it is that, the only reason I do it is because I take responsibility for my own health.
Yeah,
I don't give that over to somebody else. And we're so, keen to outsource everything in the West, including all of our production to China, and less so the better, and now, perhaps you're talking, about outsourcing your health to China as well by consulting me. But the thing I would like to say is that I bring a Western understanding to Chinese medicine. And I think an awful lot of people look at Chinese medicine and just think to themselves, wow, it's too difficult to understand because it all comes from China. And that's why I put myself as being the bridge between those. My greatest interest at the moment is quantum science. I love that. And so the more I study into quantum science, the more I realize that everything is energy and vibration. The more I realize that working your body, tapping onto your body, making sounds where your body vibrates internally is exactly the same thing as we're doing with medicine. Medicine is a vibration as well. And so ultimately, it all boils down to, quantum science for me. I see the bridge between the two. I am the bridge between the two, as are many other, practitioners who do the same sort of thing as me. But, that's what I like to do, is be able to reassure people that I can put it to you in a way that makes sense to you, as opposed to you just saying, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I'm just going to keep going to the doctor.
Yeah.
I've got a
Uh,
different opinion about how that should work, and I think everybody should keep an open mind. I think when your mind is shut, you've stopped moving. When your mind is open, you're able to move forward.
And yes, and another word we haven't used yet. It's all about balance, isn't it? You don't want your mind to be too open, and you don't want it to be too shut. Life is work in progress, where we're playing with this balance, aren't we, all the time? John is here as well. Bon dia todos. Having undergone lower back surgery 13 years ago, I placed great importance on maintaining a healthy spine. Qigong, Tai Chi, and acupuncture were all part of my rehabilitation. Fantastic, John. Good to see you. Watch out for that man, the Portugal resident, on Thursday. Matty's here as well. A big fan, I believe, of the holistic approach. The problem with Western medicine is the pharma industry that does not want people to be healed, as healthy people do not generate profits. Hold on a minute. Let me just think about that. By God, he's right. The pain therapy I do, Liebsche and Bracht, und Bracht, it was born through a Chinese martial art as a complete warrior, not only knows how to hurt, but also how to. That's an interesting comment. The complete warrior knows how to hurt and to heal. Would you agree with that?
Oh, completely, yeah, because Qigong has always been the counterpoint to martial arts such as Kung Fu. And so if you go to the Shaolin temple, you would find, so the story is that Bodhidharma, who was an Indian monk, went to China at the behest of one of the Chinese emperors. The Chinese emperor said, "I want you to make me immortal, please." And he said,
As you
let me
would.
think about that for a minute, and then ran for it, because he knew that if he didn't do that, he would be executed. And he ended up hiding in the Shaolin temple and saw that all the monks did was hit each other and fight. And they were always hurting each other. And he said, you know what you need is another side to this. You need something soft. So he developed Shaolin Qigong to go with Shaolin Kung Fu. And then what you said earlier is about balance. Keeping the mind open is a balance point. So everything, and in fact, we know about it from Buddhism. We have what's called the middle way in Buddhism. That's it. All we're seeking is the middle way, not too high, not too low. And so this time of year, the emotions that come through, such as sadness and sorrow, we don't want those to go too high because they hurt you. But also the other side of things, like, with the heart, is about happiness, unsurprisingly. In Chinese medicine, they don't want your heart energy to go too high. They don't want you to be too happy, because they say when you get to too happy, you're getting into gibberish, you're talking nonsense. You can't. Well, I'm probably doing that.
Welcome to my world. Yes, but I know
talking too much, getting overexcited, overjoyed. And so everything is about balance in Chinese medicine.
Yeah, very good, very good. A couple more questions, and thank you for being such an interesting guest this morning, and for bringing this wonderful insight to us. The experience of the two, this is the yin and the yang in the teaching situation. Two genders has been very similar in my coaching experience. Coach Turner, an athletics coach, of course, for anyone who doesn't know him. It's why my colleague John and I only coach girls. Our technical approach works very well with their psychology, understanding the energetics right there in an athletic situation. And finally, just a tiny little question for you. What are the differences between Qigong and Tai Chi? Please, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's a toxic corner of my world.
Very good.
It's very simple, technically speaking. The sad thing was that when Nixon and Kissinger went to China, NBC did an hour-long documentary on Tai Chi, and suddenly Tai Chi became the thing everybody wanted to do in America after they'd seen that. And so Tai Chi took off and suddenly became the thing, and Qigong, nobody ever discovered it, which is a shame. It just sits there in the background as the, always the bridegroom, never the bride. What's that? Bridesmaid. That's right. Never the bride. However, as I say, it is the root of all Chinese medicine. So if you track back and you look at Qigong, you find it to be 5,000 years old. It turns out the energetic understanding turns out to be the root of herbal medicine. It turns out to be the root of acupuncture. And eventually, 500 years ago, the forms become formalized into Tai Chi. Yeah. And so, whereas I would like to say in simplicity, Qigong is 5,000 years old, Tai Chi is 500 years old. It doesn't belittle it in any way. I think the only thing I would criticize, that's wrong. I don't want to criticize.
Observe
is my own own personal practice of Tai Chi. So I've spent two 2-year blocks studying 2 different forms of Tai Chi before I moved to Qigong.
Right.
And what I discovered was that the teachers tend to be taught to teach the form beautifully, but then don't really ever get taught the reason why they're teaching you those movements. And so if you're lucky enough to find a Tai Chi teacher who has all of the background information, why do we have our hand like this, not like this? You know, what is the purpose of closing the fingers like this, or rather having them open like that?
Yes.
If you have a Tai Chi teacher who's lucky enough to have been really deeply taught in the nature of Tai Chi, why we do it, what it's for, then you have, you know, a fantastic thing. But what tends to happen is that, and I would just sling this out at yoga as well, is that, you know, people tend to get taught the form, they don't get tend to taught the reason for doing it. And so in Qigong, I've been lucky enough to go the other way around. I get the basic understanding of how the background works and why we do the exercises, and then why that becomes the form. And so
That's a great answer.
yeah, so for me, I'm much more able to understand Tai Chi these days, although I still don't practice it because I've got so many forms stuck in my head of Qigong. I haven't got time to keep up with my Tai Chi, but yeah, I now understand it better and why it works and what it's for. And it is a fantastic exercise, but adding that deeper layer makes it much better.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Great answer to Jim's question. Thank you very much for that. Matty had a go at that. While for Westerners, the difference is like having an American car or a German car. Both go from A to B. Yes, until you look into the subtlety and nuance that Jeremy was referring to there. We better let him go. Just a quick a word of wisdom from Jim here. It's been great having you with us this morning as well. The warrior must learn both the sword and the lyre, as in the musical instrument rather than the type of person. To channel aggression into art and to temper courage with beauty. What a lovely, coming back to balance, what a lovely way of seeing the world and being, which our guest this morning, Jeremy, I think exemplifies from time to time as you see him wandering about, not playing the lyre or a musical instrument, but you play life like a musical instrument, Jeremy. I've seen you.
Wow, that's good. I like the link. It's fabulous.
Okay, mate. All the best to you, and lots of luck with. Well, you won't need any luck, but all the best with the workshop and the work that's unfolding here in San Martino de Porto on the Silver Coast with the wonderful gift that you're bringing to the world in the form of Qigong. Thanks, mate. Take care and bye for now. See you soon.
Really good. I just want to add one last thing. The Wednesday class is free. I don't have to pay for it. Come and join me on Wednesdays for free. Really good to see you.
Your introductory class. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought we'd finish with you there, but you just chuck in a brilliant bombshell like that. Free Qigong on a Wednesday morning. Your Wednesday morning class is available and online.
And online. Yes, it's always online. So if you go to quantumqigong.co.uk classes, you'll see a Zoom link and you just go and join in. I'll be starting in half an hour. Yeah, I don't charge for the Wednesday healing class. I think it's my service. And so you pay for Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are the exercise classes, but the healing class is always free.
Fantastic. What time on Wednesdays? Did you just say that?
9:30, yeah. Half an hour.
Better let him go. All right. Cheers, mate. Okay, all the best. And bye for now.
Bye.
How about that? Wednesday, 9:30, free Qigong class, as shared with you there. And given as a gift by Jeremy College, who's running the spine workshop and bringing Qigong to the Western world. Is this a comment about be true? Always good to understand the reasons behind particular movements. Yes. It was that beetroot I ate is the reason for that particular movement and its colour. Okay, sorry. I asked you, didn't I, to look for the good and praise it. We've had some lovely photographs. A photograph and a video sent in. Not this one. This is one of the memes. That's not made with beetroot, is it? That came up when I was putting a few memes together in at the Portugal club that I'd unearthed as I was moving things around in the classroom. No, this is much more beautiful. Look at this, Mrs. T there, Leslie. Where was this, Coach Turner? What a beautiful photo sent to me on 913 590 303. Mrs. T in Câmara de Lobos, Madeira, a recent Madeira pic there. And also a video from Andeiro, which, you know what, I think we should go out with that this morning, but not until we've had a look at the memes I unearthed for you. I think you might like these. Let's go back to the Portugal club then and have a look at, where were we? Yeah, there's the Portuguese citizenship test question du jour or du dia for you there. But if I come out of there and go back to the timeline, that's part, if you sign up for the Portugal club, you'll get access to read what the Gumpers are talking about over on the timeline. Oh, and in the classroom, you will get access as a free member to the Portugal A to Z 26 fast and fun factoids there. And the rest of the classroom is available to supporters, as you can see on the screen there. Been doing a lot of work on that just recently with all the amazing information that we've brought together over the last 5 years. And some of that I have put into our memes, maps and marvels thread, which I hope you can see on the screen. There's loads on this. There was this, Hola Bon Dia, it's August the 32nd. That's when we just can't let go of the summer in the way that Jeremy was talking about. Nice link there. Meanwhile, in Portugal, a doctor talking to the patient. Is it serious, doc? No, but you are. You seem to have PPQQ, a condition which can only be dealt with by Qigong and not pharmaceutical drugs. Pow, pow. Queijo, everybody. There's the Portugal 15. There's been some talk about that. How much weight did you win, as the Portuguese might coin that phrase? That's the weight you put on when you arrive. Well, this comes from the college I did, isn't it? Of the college 15. You get that when you arrive in Portugal too. Look at that diet there of pastel de nata, beer and chips. Queijo, where you going with that gun in your hand there? The Queijo meme. I've forgotten about so many of these. What you might see in Venice. Welcome to Venice, the Aveiro of Italy. Yeah. And at what time is dinner usually eaten? 9 until 10 here. Yeah, for sure. Tea time in the UK. They look at that, 6:30. That's a proper time to eat your cucumber sandwich with the crust cut off. And another one I found here, not a great photo, but fascinating to see bacalhau swimming freely before diners choose one for dinner there. And I think it was Michael Whitby who said that these people don't know what they're doing. It's obvious, is it not, that bacalhau is a seawater fish and not a freshwater fish, and that's why all that lot have died and are not floating anymore. They're on the bottom of that tank. I'll give you the link to these memes of the morning, shall I? Plenty more where that came from. And go to the last couple of comments and we'll play Andero's video by way of a goodbye this morning at 3 minutes past 9. Can't believe it. Had so much fun this morning. Thank you. You've been a proper tonic this morning, looking for the good and praising it. Let's keep this up tomorrow and send in those pictures and videos on 913-590-303. Carl, share the link to the free Qigong class at 9:30. I can't. You're going to have to go and track Jeremy down. Go to the Portugal Club. And you should be able to see this, actually. So let me just give you the link one more time. This is what you're going to need. Where do we send the... I'm not shaving. This is my winter cover, Peter. And maybe I should have been a bit more thoughtful about this and applied for an EU fallow grant, perhaps, to let it overgrow for the winter and declare it a site of scientific special interest and maybe get 2 grants for setting it aside, but also breeding new species for, again, give my beard to science. All right, folks, we'll have to leave it there this morning, but there is the link. Click on that, or just go to the Portugal Club and search for Jeremy, and you'll find out the way to get in touch with him. I don't know is the answer to that. How to get to how to give you the link to Jeremy's Qigong class, but he will be back. He was great fun to chat to this morning. Here's Andero's video. Thank you very much. 913-590-303, and then we will say goodbye, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Now, where is that video, Andero? Is this it?
There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need